Driving fast is easy. Driving fast on track is a little more difficult. And driving fast on gravel, snow, and ice roads you've never seen before, that's rally. And it takes more than just gas and guts to master. Today, we're going to be breaking down the rally techniques that separate the beginners from the pros. If you want to rotate faster, slide cleaner, and take every stage like it's yours to win, this one's for you. We're going to go from foundational physics all the way to flashy techniques like the Scandinavian Flick, and don't worry, every tip comes with gameplay so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so I know I said without further ado, but real quick, a couple things to touch on before we really get started here. 1, I am not a professional rally driver or instructor yet. Just someone who's passionate about rally, loves racing, and wants to share the information that I already know and have done a little research on with you guys. So, none of these techniques are 100% concrete or can be applied in every single scenario. Learning what these techniques are and how to use them will improve your driving as you teach yourself when to apply them out on stage. These aren't miracle advices, these are just ways to improve your driving across the board. And 2, I am merely going to introduce and lightly touch on these topics for you. Maybe a couple examples, some intro ideologies, but that is it. For 100% concrete ways to apply this and how to teach yourself how to do it, there are many channels out there who can give you step-by-step instructions. I will link and talk about these at the end of the video, as well as some real-life schools that you can pay for to do this in real life. It's an awesome opportunity. I highly recommend checking it out at the end of the video, but without further ado, let's get started. Before you even think about flicks or high-speed slides, you need to understand weight transfer. Your car has weight. This is an unavoidable fact. And when you brake, accelerate, or turn, you're shifting the weight of the car. Think about the sensation of getting pulled back into your seat when you accelerate, or getting slammed forward and getting caught by your seatbelt if you hit the brakes too hard. You as an individual have weight as you get tossed around in the car, and your car, in the exact same principle, has weight as well. That movement you feel affects grip, rotation, and control, and learning how your car reacts when the weight moves is a key first step to mastering rally driving. For instance, if you have your weight way too far forward, i.e. under heavy braking, your front tires are carrying a lot of physical load, and if you try to yank the steering wheel to the right under heavy braking, you're most likely going to lock up and go absolutely nowhere except face first into a tree. And the exact same way, if you're powering out of a corner early, your rear wheels are going to be carrying much of the physical load, lifting your front wheels off the ground slightly, giving you less available mechanical grip to adjust your car throughout corners. Understanding and mastering this ideology and technique is, in my opinion, one of the most important first steps towards becoming a better rally driver, or a better driver in general. Track racing utilizes a lot of weight transfer ideologies as well. However, the stiffer suspension across the board tends to mitigate this slightly, which is why I'm making it the first step in a rally video. In rally, your feet do more steering than your hands. If you've never attempted any sort of performance driving, that statement probably sounds incredibly ridiculous to you, and don't worry, I get it. Even as someone who's been doing sim rally for a while now, I still struggle with letting my throttle and brake inputs control the car instead of overcompensating with excessive wheel adjustments. Throttle balances the rear, brakes rotate the front. It's not just about turning the wheel, it's about manipulating the car's weight and grip through your pedals. Through this, you can increase consistency and reduce tire wear if you're willing to master the concept. Now, mastering it is a little difficult and it takes some time, but patience is the name of the game in anything racing applied, and mastering the ability of controlling the car's weight with your feet instead of the wheel will greatly increase your times across any sort of racing discipline, whether it be rally, track racing, anything you have your mind on. If you understand weight transfer and how to manipulate that with just your feet, you will become an incredibly quick driver, guaranteed. Next, let's talk about throttle modulation. More importantly, throttle input mid-corner. The throttle is more than a gas pedal, it's a tool. And going off of what we've already talked about in weight transfer and steering with your feet, it's now time to talk about what to do with the gas pedal. And like I said, it's a tool. Ease it on mid-quarter to maintain grip, stab it if you need a kick of rotation. Too much and you spin, too little, you bog down. Control here is everything. So I'm going to showcase the same corner being taken when I apply the throttle way too early, way too late, and as close to perfect as I can get, so you can witness this ideology in action.
Square left, 160. Slow, keep left over crest into chicaned, 160. Slow, keep left over crest into chicane, left entry. 160. Slow, keep left over crest into chicane, left entry.
Next up, we have trail braking. Trail braking is the art of easing off the brakes as you begin your turn. You're keeping some brake pressure while you turn in, which helps the front tires bite into the road. It's great for tight corners or anytime you want a sharper front end response, but it requires subtlety. Too much brake and you'll lock up or understeer. The key here is balance. You're not trying to slow the car down, you're trying to load the front. Again, touching back on weight transfer. You can even use it to rotate slightly before a handbrake corner or to keep a better line through complex sequences. Basically, you're slowly letting off the brake pedal as you enter a corner and keeping just enough braking pressure to slow down accordingly, but rotate or get the car turned in as quickly as possible without locking up, hence the name trail braking. Start hard and slowly lift your foot off the brake pedal as required, and you will see your times jump forward if you can master this technique. Next up, we have left foot braking. Left foot braking is one of the most powerful tools in rally. In fact, the first time I ever saw an onboard video of a rally driver, I noticed that he was using his right foot for the gas pedal and his left foot for the brake pedal at one point, which to me was a cardinal sin because my dad grew up driving stick shift vehicles like I'm sure a lot of yours did, and he always told me the only thing your left foot should press is the clutch. So when I first saw this, I thought, some professional these guys are. And then I saw them send it down a snowy road at 100 miles an hour in a shitbox, and I thought, okay, maybe these guys know what they're doing. And trust me, they do. Left foot braking is incredible to master it. It lets you control the car's rotation while keeping your foot on the throttle. It's especially useful in front-wheel drive cars where you want to keep the front wheels pulling while rotating the rear. But it takes time to learn. The first time you try to left foot brake, you'll probably smash the pedal like you're stepping on a go-kart, and that's fine, it's muscle memory. With time, you'll be able to use both pedals at once with a lot of precision and control, feathering inputs mid-corner like a pro. Used correctly, it keeps your speed up, your line tight, and your transitions clean, even on unpredictable surfaces. But, like I said, at first, braking with your left foot is something a lot of us don't do, and the first time you try to mash it into a corner, you're probably going to throw yourself into your seat butt and be shocked by the amount of pressure that you use with an untrained foot. However, like I said, learn how to quickly switch between brake and throttle inputs, and not only will your reactions be quicker, you as a driver will be quicker as well. Real quick, touching on braking in a different thought process, let's talk about braking by surface type. Every surface in rally behaves differently, and your braking technique has to adjust with it. On gravel, braking is softer and starts earlier. Lockups can happen very quickly, and sliding is a lot more likely. On tarmac, you can brake harder and later, using the increased grip to your advantage. And snow is just survival. You brake early, gently, and plan way ahead, or you're going to have a bad time. Understanding how the car reacts under braking on each track surface is a huge step not only towards consistency, but improvement. And it also helps you predict behavior in mixed surface stages, which are extremely common in rally. Next up, let's talk about momentum driving. If you're driving a low-powered car, which a lot of people do, both starting in rally in games and real life, you can't rely on horsepower to fix mistakes. You need momentum. Why do you think so many professional drivers start out in low-powered go-karts or Miata spec races where cars are very slow? Momentum driving is about keeping speed through corners by choosing better lines, braking less, and using smooth inputs. Basically, applying everything that we've talked about up until this point. Applying this every time can gain you so much time. Think about it. Every time you brake too much or turn too sharply and you don't have the horsepower to fix those mistakes, you are scrubbing seconds that you just can't get back. The best sim rally training I think you could do, run a low power car on a very technical stage and try to never dip below like 70% throttle. I know that sounds very difficult, but it forces you to think ahead and drive smart, not just fast. And the best thing about a simulator, if you get into a nasty accident, you can just press restart instead of admitting that you just wasted $100,000 by totaling a car. All right, here it is. I know this is the one you wanted. Here it comes. I know y'all have been waiting. Dude, oh my god, I think he's gonna talk about the Scandinavian Flick, dude, he's gonna talk about the thing, dude, where you send it in one way and you flick it the other way, dude, like, Ken Block, bro, Ken Block, he's doing it all the time, bro, Scandinavian Flick, yes. It's time to talk about style and substance, the Scandinavian Flick. In order to apply this incredibly visually appealing technique, you briefly steer away from the corner, then snap back in. This loads the suspension and shifts the car's weight, priming it to rotate before you even reach the apex. It's flashy, it's old school, and when you nail it, you feel like a hero, but the real goal is control. It's a setup move. Great for tight gravel corners or when you need rotation before your turn-in point that you just can't get naturally from a simple turn-in. Don't just flick for flair, do it for function. If you can master the technique of slightly offsetting your car and flicking it back in low-speed scenarios, you will be able to gain a lot of time, especially if you're applying this for momentum-driven vehicles where you don't have the horsepower to just send it out of corners. All right, let's talk about the handbrake. And first things first, let's be clear. The handbrake is not a magical drift button.
Then check this out.
I know it's really cool to think that it is, and when applied properly, it can definitely help. However, if you watch any professional drifters, you'll notice they really only touch the handbrake on the initial send-in or for very tiny adjustments midway through the drift. And going back to propping myself up as a teacher, they actually utilize a lot of steering the car with their feet. You'll see a lot of different brake and throttle inputs, which is a great way to talk about how to adjust your car and to plug my own teaching. But the handbrake is a precision tool. You use it to rotate the car in the tight hairpins or when you're off angle on entry and you need to correct. A tight tug, no more than a second, is all it takes to swing the rear around. Overusing it kills your speed and ruins exits. Underusing it, you might not be able to make the turn at all. Practice using it with throttle timing to get that quick rotation, then power out clean. Your brake and your throttle should be the main tools you use. Those are your brushes. The handbrake is the scalpel. And bring that out at the end, fine-tuning, mid-corner adjustments. However, you are not yanking that into every corner like Ken Block. No, we all wish that we could be like Ken. Long lived. But you have to understand when to apply the handbrake or you're just going to be losing valuable time and destroying your tires. So, with every technique that I've brought up so far in the video, I think it's pretty obvious that none of them are concrete or have to be applied every single corner. Just understanding and teaching the techniques will allow you to make the judgment call when it's best to use them to shave off any time that you can. However, I wanted to specifically talk about this right here, corner entry styles. In racing, more specifically track racing like Formula 1 or GT, slow in, fast out. That's how it is for almost every single corner. Slow down early, get your line, and then power out as soon as you can. However, in rally, there's a second ideology. With slow in, fast out, it's all about braking early, keeping the car balanced, and powering out clean. It's safe and consistent. But sometimes, especially in tight gravel corners, you want to rotate early and commit hard, almost throwing the car in with controlled chaos, i.e. a Scandinavian Flick or a pendulum turn. Knowing when to switch between these styles is what separates the clean from the quick and the quick from the championship pace. If you can see a hairpin or maybe a really tight one corner approaching, and if you haven't watched my rally calls video and you don't know what I'm talking about, what are you doing? But like I'm saying, if you can recognize when these tight corners are coming and throw the car in aggressively and power out, especially in all-wheel drive vehicles, you will take that corner significantly faster than the traditional out, in, out, slow in, fast out methodology of traditional track racing. So keep that in mind, and now you will really start to understand how rally driving is a little bit different than any other racing discipline out there. The last tip I can give you might be the most important one: recovery. You're gonna mess up. Everyone does. But recovery is where the best drivers shine. If you oversteer, lift gently and steer into the slide. Don't fight it. If you understeer, don't panic brake. Ease off, look where you want to go, and find your line again. Rally isn't about being flawless. In fact, many WRC champions have had rally-ending crashes on their way to the championship that same season. It's all about staying in the fight, no matter how sideways you get. Rally is rhythm. Rally is recovery. Rally is confidence built one corner at a time. Master these techniques and every hairpin becomes an opportunity, not a threat. If you want to take this beyond the sim, there are real opportunities out there to get seat time without dropping 50 grand on a race car. Places like Dirtfish, where a lot of this in-game footage was inspired, offer hands-on coaching that'll elevate everything you've learned here. And if you want something similar and you're down in Texas like me, check out Rally Ready Driving School. They've got a legit program, amazing instructors, and the exact kind of dirt under your nails experience that makes the sport addictive in the best way. Honestly, it's the perfect place to apply exactly what you've learned here today and feel it for real. If this video helped you out, check out my full rally calls breakdown for help decoding pace notes, because that's where the whole journey really starts. And hey, if you're feeling the vibe, make sure to heel toe that like and subscribe combo. Thank you for watching. I'm CB Racing, and as always, I will catch y'all in the next one.